Hey, hi, it's Aaron. Um, I'm making another video already. I'm poorly, so my voice sounds a bit messed up, but I'm doing okay. It's hit me quite hard, and it seemed to coincide with a really, really strong calling to go for a walk a couple of days ago to somewhere I haven't been in quite a long time. And on that walk, I got quite a bit of exercise, and I felt a bit funny in the morning. I didn't really think I was ill though, or anything like that. And I went out for my walk, and it was a great day. Had a really nice time. Just going somewhere. It's somewhere I used to live actually, a long time ago. But I took this quite convoluted route through the countryside, and I had a really nice moment where I was in the city, and maybe I'll put a photo in this video. Maybe I can do that. I was in the city, technically in the city, right? I'm still kind of on the edge of the city, but I crossed into the city from my village. My village is kind of outside the city, and but it's still in suburbia, right? I live in the depths of suburbia, and I crossed over into the city proper, and into this large park, this large kind of wild land kind of place along the River Mersey, actually. And I went up this particular path, and I don't know if I've ever been up that path before. And it got me to a place on this low hill where I was surrounded by trees, and just because of the way the land was lying, and where I was, and all of this stuff, the trees and everything, I couldn't see a single house. I couldn't see a single car. I couldn't see any evidence. I couldn't see it. I could hear it, but I couldn't see any evidence that I was in a city at all. I was looking across a hill, across a kind of a hill, a field with cows in it. There was trees, into the distance, and then in the far distance there was I could see the hills, and it was just a wonderful, wonderful moment. And I sat there for a few minutes, I don't know, 20 minutes or something, just sat down and had a rest. And not a single person came past me until I decided to get up and go. And then I started seeing people, I had this moment of peace in the city. It was amazing. And I don't know, I feel like that's kind of the reason I went. I went to see that, to experience that in a way. But that wasn't the end of my walk. I went on into another village in the city, so it's kind of like village hopping, and grabbed a coffee and a bit of shopping, and came home. And it wasn't until I came home that it really started to hit me that I was becoming ill. And that was it then. I've been kind of out of action for a few days. 2 days? I don't know. 2 days maybe. But yeah, I'm okay. I have a nice, a very large mug of cacao, brewed to my own special recipe. It's very nice. And here I am, just trying to look after myself, right? That's quite challenging in these times, I find. I'm finding it really hard to look after myself and to do the right thing, and to honour, actually honour what's being asked of me, what my body's asking me. My body keeps telling me not to eat this food, this is what we call junk food, the treats. And I'm like, okay, You know, we'll do the healthy options, and then at some point I'll cave and start eating the treats. You know. But it's okay. I mean, I'm aware of it, and I feel like I'm incrementally, slowly, steadily, baby steps, just getting a bit better. You know, every day, just a little bit better. Sometimes there's a few steps back, but overall, you know. But I have put on quite a bit of weight over the last couple of months, and I'm really feeling it, and I need to get out and about a bit more. But also that's the kind of time of year we're in, isn't it? We are in that kind of hibernation mode. And just because the New Year's rolled over doesn't mean that's over, you know? We're still in winter. I think it's easy to forget that, isn't it? That January is like, it's only the start of a new year because that's what the calendar says, you know? I was watching someone, I can't remember who it was. Right, I think I remember who it was, but it doesn't matter who it was. It's, you know, like a sentiment I've heard lots of times. Like, it isn't spring the start of the new year. Why is the dead of winter the new year? It doesn't really make a lot of sense in some ways. And then there's kind of like the spiritual people who kind of like to say that this is like sacred season until the end of January. Not sure why, and it's probably a mixture of different things, including astrology, but there's a couple of people I follow that say that, and I agree with it, you know? But by mid-January, sort of by now, it feels like Christmas and all of that is long past. And that's how I associate sacred season, you know? That sacred time, that quiet time that we get to have. Like, even though, like, Christmas can be really hectic and stressful and stuff, there is something there, you know, from the solstice onwards, you know, for a couple of weeks. There's this time when the world really, or my world, my culture, the country I live in, to some extent, does slow down. And we do take a break, you know, from some things. Other things become much more busy for a lot of us, I think. Christmas comes with its own stress, doesn't it? And it doesn't matter. It doesn't seem to matter what I do. I can't avoid it. I've never been able to really manage that stress. It's just sort of shifted from one thing to another. I tried to do Christmas early. You know, get presents out the way early. I even filled up my food cupboard a bit, stocked up for Christmas, because I just didn't want to go shopping. I didn't want to do all that stuff in December, really. And I was quite successful doing that, but it was very stressful, you know, receiving extra deliveries, you know, getting stuff off Amazon and all of that stuff. It was quite stressful, but by the time Christmas had come round, I didn't really need to worry about that stuff anymore. It was all done. And I don't really need, you know, I always go somewhere for Christmas Day, so I don't really need to, I don't buy turkey or anything like that, you know, for myself. I contribute to another household that does that. So yeah. Anyway, hey, welcome to my blog. My vlog, just rambling on. I'm rambling on. That's okay. That's my jam. We like to take our time on this channel. We like to slow down. We're not chasing algorithms or whatever, viewer retention. Please feel free to turn this off right now. I don't know what's coming next. I don't know if it'll be exciting or boring. Yeah, the world's crazy, isn't it? And it's really difficult to be in the world and not get completely caught up in it, in all the nonsense, you know? Because it's important nonsense, right? It's important. We can't say that what's happening outside, on the outside, isn't important. I mean, I've been there. I've kind of been one of those spiritual people where it's all within. I'm staying within. And I kind of shut myself out of the outside world for a few years. And I'm still trying to kind of get back in the world. And I'm finding it really hard. I'm still trying. And I'm trying to take part in community. And I'm trying to... I'm trying to, I don't know, just take part. And I'm just finding it really hard to do that. I'm finding it incredibly hard. But because, I mean, there's so much grief and despair out there. And people casually, just wishing terrible things upon each other or doing terrible things upon each other, and even in safe places, safe spaces, these kind of really intense conversations happen, and I just can't really handle it. I understand it, I get it, I've been there once upon a time, but I can't take part in those conversations. I can't listen. I don't want to. So it's really hard to find these sort of sanctuaries, and most often they are when I'm actually alone. My solitude is my sanctuary. My home is my sanctuary. Certain places in nature that I find, one of them's near me. My nearby park is my sanctuary. But on certain days of the week it isn't, Certain times it gets busy and it fills up with, the weekend people. I call them the weekend people. The people who bring their stress from their jobs into the park. And, they're perfectly entitled to use the park just as much as I am, and I can't complain about it at all. But, that world sort of comes into my park. My park. It kind of creeps in at certain times, especially in the summer. But, yeah. The outside world is so crazy. And it's difficult to really know what's true and what's not true. All I know, for me, in my kind of discernment practice, I guess, is that if there's anyone talking about sides and which side they're on, and having to win. That was it. Someone I was watching today, I was watching a channel today. It was a really, really great channel. And she was channeling something along the lines of, I can't remember the exact words, but this is something I had a prayer. I made a prayer a couple of weeks ago when I was kind of like suffering and I needed to pray. And I prayed for all the people who think they've been defeated. And I pray for all the people who think they're victorious. And the channel said something like that. She channels the Arcturians. And the channel said something very similar to that. And I was like, wow, that's what our time is. You know, that's it in a nutshell, isn't it? That's these times. We either think we've been defeated or we think we're victorious. And that channel, she was saying, or the Arcturians were saying, you know, the actual solution, the actual way forward isn't in either camp, you know. It's not one side or the other. It's going to be some kind of, I don't know, like meeting in the middle or some kind of compromise or something that's not either of them. You know, it reminds me of quantum physics and quantum theory, you know, being in superposition. I don't know why I'm saying this. Being in superposition, some people think it means that that superposition is about being in two places at once. It's not. In my understanding, it's not. I'm not a quantum physicist or anything like that, but I am interested. And you know, superposition is completely, I know it goes back to this kind of spiritual thing again, where the solutions come from out of knowledge, outside of our spheres, you know. We can't solve a problem from the position of the problem. It comes from the outside. Like, we can't help people if we're in it with them. You can't jump in the water and pull someone out of the water. You have to be on dry land to pull them out. And that's, you know, in my journey as a student of these truths of you know, the spiritual journey, it's always been about, you're never going to see that, you're never going to be able to figure out the solution yourself. You might see it coming, you might intuit it, you might realize a solution is coming, but it will be from the outside, from, you know, from that place of potential, not from I worked it all out. And that's where we all are. So the people who think they are defeated are doing it, are thinking that because they're taking all that they know and they're calling that reality. And the people that think they're victorious, kind of the same thing, really. But the way forward is something else. And it's not as if I'm hoping it's that way. That is the way that world works. It is the way the universe works. Because if you think about it, we're just like, you know, if we think about it as we're humans in an infinite universe, how can we know? How could we? How could we be the gatekeepers of reality? Like, I know we all get fancy ideas about creating and calling things in and manifesting, but even that itself is not the whole story, is it? Co-creation. Anyway, I don't know, I think I might be done. 20 minutes is long enough, isn't it? So I think that's what I'd like to end on, is a prayer for the people who think they're defeated, and a prayer for the people who think they're victorious. A prayer for that inside of me as well, the parts of me that feel defeated, because that's a very real feeling. It's a very real feeling. And the parts of me that feel victorious, or holding on to some kind of win, you know? And those parts that I'm not really aware of at this time, I'm unconscious of, right? Unconsciousness isn't a bad thing. It's how we work through our shit, right? It's the way forward, because we're unconscious of so much stuff that is actually right here. And that's the journey. So even though we think we're awake, we're not really. You know? We're just awake to what's here right now. And being awake to the fact that we can't see. There's so much we can't see. There's so much that we have no knowledge of. And maybe we can intuit a lot of stuff in comparison to where we have been. But even so, you know, we don't need to get carried away with that. With our new intuition or a new insight into things. I've definitely been there. I've definitely been in that place where my spiritual ego's just been rampant in a very personal way, you know. Luckily for me, it didn't really bleed out into my life too much, except maybe my some of my loved ones took a bit of a saw that side of me for sure. But yeah, that side of me that felt victorious was here for a time, for sure, taking over. And who knows what's next, right? Just praying for that we can all just get through this in our own ways as best we can. 2025 is going to be wild. It's not going to get easier, but it is the way forward. You can see it, can't you? I can see it. I see this kind of new world we're stepping into, and it's more obvious than ever. And I see the old world just dying away. It's more obvious than ever. But paradoxically, it's more felt. It feels more controlling than ever as well. Anyway, I'm done. Otherwise I keep rambling, won't I? Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Bye.